big part of our modern culture roams around the pursuit of our soulmate. That moment when a normal day turns into a revealing event when another human being, for some reason, becomes our whole world, and we decide to spend the rest of our lives with such person. Many artistic expressions work romantic love as a theme of inspiration. Thousands and millions of playlists with songs about mutual love, toxic love, violent love, beautiful love, broken hearts, emotional losses, spite, and even about self-love are listened every day. Today, we sail to the origins of a date when the world decided that love must be proved at all costs. Valentine's Day. But let's understand that this, like much of our cultural baggage, is not always roses and chocolates. Welcome to Ancient Folklore by Meet and Talk. The origin of this celebration has many versions. We'll explore the most popular. We travel back to Rome under the reign of Claudius Gothicus, a moment in history full of wars and religious differences. For Christianity was illegal and punishable by death. To make men better soldiers, the Caesar decreed that young Romans old enough to go to war could not marry anyone, because having a family created vulnerabilities and bonds that diminished a soldier's military performance. In this context, we present to you Valentinus, a name that means powerful or worthy. Valentinus was a priest or a bishop who presided secret weddings for Roman soldiers who wanted to have a family and to convert to the Christian faith. He would gather them in caves and baptize them, and then they would carry out the union of lovers. Cute, right? In addition, he would sneak into Roman prisons so that he could pass messages between Christian prisoners. Eventually, Valentinus was found and trapped. Since his actions directly challenged the Caesar, he was imprisoned to be executed. In the days leading up to his execution, it is said that he left a message to his lover, who was rumored to be the jailer's daughter. This message was a farewell and a declaration of love and admiration, signed with that phrase so popular in English-speaking countries, "From your Valentines." Thus, on February 14th, Valentinus was beheaded and buried in the Roman catacombs. Valentine's legend is really a strategy of the Catholic Church to replace the pagan festivals of the Lupercalia, a feast dedicated to fertility and the wolf goddess who fed Romulus and Remus. At this feast, several goats and a dog were slaughtered in a cave. The blood would stain the faces of two naked monks. Afterwards, these monks would cut 2 pieces of the skin of the newly sacrificed goat and ran through the village, beating women with pieces of leather. The women received the blows happily, because it was believed that it increased their fertility. At the end of the race, names were raffled and sexual partners were created that remained faithful to each other throughout the year until the following February 15th. Historically, the Church has been famous for obliterating pagan practices and replacing them with tales of martyrs and people who defended the faith. Later, in medieval times, a poem called Parliament of Fowls was published. It satirizes the love activity of birds by comparing it with humans when they fall in love, kick-starting various traditions that led up to today's Valentine's Day. So here's our story of martyrs, naked men full of blood, and poems of birds in love, which somehow we still celebrate today, with flowers, letters, quotes, and cars covered in post-its. Thank you very much for listening, and remember that you can visit us at our language practice and cultural exchange meetings at Meet and Talk.